But thank God I'm about to talk about a turning point, because in the last year or so, I've gotten the first actual progress that I have, I guess, in this entire 11-year journey. Started working with somebody online who is a personal trainer and physical therapist who dealt with a very similar situation to what I had. And with his help and a lot of hard work, I've been able to get out of the perpetual misery that I was in for those 6 years. And basically just by doing progressive training and retraining my nervous system, I'm feeling the best that I have in about 7 years. I'm eating better, I'm sleeping better, I'm breathing better, moving better, I'm running. I'm the strongest potentially that I've ever been in my life. My digestion is better, my metabolism is better, and just kind of systemically the tension in my body has kind of been mitigated a little bit. And thankfully, I'm no longer in that rock bottom period where I'm just trying to make it through every day. So that is the nutshell version of my Odyssey to this point. And it is a very, condensed version of it. So I'm sure there's key details I'm leaving out, but those are the main bullet points. And I think Odyssey is a very appropriate word, considering that myth was a 10-year journey, and this is plus 11 at this point. Where I find myself now on that Odyssey is a situation where all of those chronic health issues or symptoms are still just as stubborn as ever, even though some of the symptoms have been mitigated and I'm physiologically functioning better. Panic attacks are mostly gone. I've only had like 2 in the past 2 years, and I look normal and I'm stronger and all that. Unfortunately, the training has not been able to do much about the kind of cervical cranial symptoms, which is kind of where my issues lie in the nervous system. And those symptoms are still all the time, every second of every day. The headache and the occipital tension around my head has not gone away since 2014. The choking has not gone away since 2018. And the tinnitus is still just as loud and abrasive as ever. And so all these things are just constantly assaulting my senses, and it makes it difficult to focus and function as a human being. And still not really able to tolerate stress that well. And when I do get even like a little bit of stress, kind of the tension all comes all at once from everywhere, and especially my throat. And when that gets tight, my nervous system freaks out, and it's just like a vicious cycle. And even though I'm training and that's added stress, it's thankfully only for I can only tolerate about 45 to an hour, and my symptoms get worse every single time. But thankfully, it's a short enough time frame where I can recover. I still live on those 8 foods at this point. I've only expanded like 2 or 3 foods consistently. I experiment a lot more, but still kind of not able to tolerate a lot of foods. And still limited in driving. Can only really tolerate about short distances, basically. So, still pretty limited. And yeah, I'm lost. Don't really know what to do at this point. Don't really know where to go. Don't know what to do about the cranial, cervical, and neurological type issues. And there's really not like a brand name condition for this amalgamation of symptoms. A lot of these symptoms I don't even know what they are, and neither does the people who've worked on me. And when, all these expert professional people are kind of not able to help, and you've tried so many different methods and systems that have worked for other people, but not for you, you just feel helpless. And I'm trying to learn stuff myself, but when you don't know what some of these things are, you don't even know what to focus on, you don't know what to learn and spend your energy on. A lot of this stuff, I mean, the body is complex enough, but when you get into the head and neck and neurological nervous system, like, that's just a whole nother layer of complexity that is way above my comprehension level at this point. So, really confused. I'm not going to give up or anything, and I will never give up, but there just seems to be no clear way out of this. And candidly, I'm just in disbelief at how I managed to mess up my life so thoroughly. It's impressive. Most things that go wrong in life usually aren't permanent. This too shall pass. The timeline torment usually always goes away. You learn to accept things and let go. You acclimate to this new normal. And over time, things get better. And I'm sure some of you, or many, are like saying such things to themselves about this situation. You just gotta learn to manage type stuff. But when it's physiological, and when it's when the discomfort and the choking especially is at a intensity and severity that it is, like, this isn't something I can accept. This isn't something that you tolerate or manage or just live with. And when those bad moments happen, the ones that change the trajectory of your life, I feel like the ultimate fear is that it just doesn't get better. I feel like that's the dread. That's the main thing you fear, is that just it's forever. What you're dealing with is just never going to stop. And I kind of feel like I've been living that nightmare thus far, at least. And the longer time goes on and I'm not able to overcome the situation, and the more the negative consequences accumulate, and the bigger toll it takes on my life practically, just the deeper that sinking feeling gets in the pit of my stomach. And especially when it implicates, family and loved ones. And it almost retroactively makes those initial moments all the more traumatic. And there's always just this voice in the back of my head constantly asking, is this something that I can even overcome? Am I just broken? Did I manage to do some kind of irreparable damage to myself? Did I do the exact perfect things to make this just an insurmountable situation? Like, I'm uniquely incompetent, and my flaws combine to form this megazord of an unfixable condition. But despite all those questions, despite everything, there has managed to be a sliver of hope that has survived through all this, beaten and bloody, but still kicking, that that knows that I can overcome this. I think the improvements that I've been able to achieve in the past year definitely encouraged those beliefs even more so. That this isn't some kind of irreparable situation. It's just this physiological Gordian knot and just a really complicated problem. And when you got a problem, you do everything you can to fix it or figure it out. And that is why I'm here. My purpose wasn't to come on here and just complain about my problems, or I'm not trying to like fish for sympathy or attention. So if you're like typing in your phone or computer, like, poor little baby lamb chop, I feel so bad, like, save it. Don't want it. It's not like this situation just happened to me. Like, this is all something I caused myself from my own misguided, poorly motivated actions. And people have way worse health issues than what I'm dealing with, and health issues that they have no control over. You know, I don't have like cancer or anything, or some kind of condition that you don't have control over. And a lot of people don't have the support systems that I do. So I'm extremely blessed, and yeah, no sympathy needed. And I really don't want attention for something like this. Disclosing my failures in life. Trust me, I'd rather continue to hide from the world and try to figure this out myself, but that's not working. And I've tried to do this myself. I've tried to get as much help as I possibly could. And I don't regret the steps I've taken for getting help and the direction I went for that. But at the same time, what I'm doing isn't cutting the Dijon. So that's led me to the realization that I need to do something different. I need a new strategy for how I'm going about this. If you want to find a better path, you got to be willing to explore different paths. And that has led me to the decision, led me to the decision to make this journey public and try to use our amazing but terrifying modern technology to my advantage. So, kind of pulling a George Costanza and doing the opposite of my natural instincts, which is to hide from the world and keep this as hush and close to the vest as possible. There's a lot of reasons why I want to do this and a lot of things that I want to use this for. And I was going to try to put all those reasons into this video, but this video has already gotten way too long. So I'm going to split this up into a two-parter, and I'll save the other reasons for next video. But my main focus is basically just to get healthy and try to get the help that I need. You know, I'm going to try to continue to work on myself and try things locally. I've recently found a physical therapist that's been able to give me progress in areas that I have not been able to in this like entire journey. So that's good, but still kind of struggling. I'm going to try to continue learning myself and experiment on myself, and I'll probably be posting some of that stuff, but I'm essentially going to use this to put myself up as a social media case study, and soon I'm going to start posting symptoms and things I've tried, things I need help with, and basically just put it all in one place. And then from there, I'm just going to reach out to providers, health providers, mostly that I just follow, and ask if they have any insights and ask if they've seen anything like my situation or worked with anybody like me and potentially would be interested in helping me out, and or even if not, just things I could potentially look into, or if they know anybody who's could help me, like just share my page with, that'd be great. This isn't a simple issue with a simple fix, at least seemingly. I've worked with a lot of amazing people, and I feel like if it were a simple issue, I would have gotten way more progress by now. So this is a complex situation, and I don't know if it's necessarily requires a complex solution, but it definitely requires a specific solution. So I'm hoping that publicizing this will kind of present options that I wouldn't have otherwise found, and hopefully give me that specific help that I need. All I know is I've got to put out all the stops. I have got to look under every rock, and I've looked under a lot of them, but this is one that I haven't. So it's something that I think is worth trying. And I also believe that every disaster or source of trauma has the capacity to be turned into a blessing, and possibly even the best thing that could have happened to you. I think we've all heard stories of people who have gone through awful things and things way worse than what I'm going through, and still managed to turn it into something amazing. And when you do that, you get the opposite of timeline torment. Because yes, there is an equal but opposite sensation to dread chakra that we all also have felt at one point in our lives, where something amazing happens and you just, instead of that sinking feeling, you feel full. It's somewhat still of that disbelief, surreal, I'm in a movie type sensation, but only because of how miraculous the moment feels. You're feeling this intense joy or bliss in the moment, and you're also excited for what this moment means for your future, while also replaying the moments that led up to it, and just grateful for everything that allowed this moment to be possible. Examples of this sensation would be something like getting a promotion, or graduating, or getting married, or having a child. And I know everybody through their screen right now is asking, Chris, is there a name for that sensation? And unfortunately to that I'd have to say no, Johnny. There's no name for that for some reason, even though it's something that we've all experienced. And so you're asking, Chris, can you come up with a real cool name that isn't lame, that rolls right off the tongue, that we can all use when we experience a sensation in our lives? And, my answer to that is yes, because what can I say? I give the people what they want. And so, henceforth, from this moment, we're going to call that sensation grapple excitement. Or, if that's too cool for everybody to say, you can also call it a timeline triumph. Like, you were on the best possible timeline. You've won the lottery of timelines. Of all the options there were for this to go, you managed to stumble on the best one. And the hell that you went through to get there was totally worth it. And you wouldn't trade it for the world. And it almost makes this better, because that hell gave you this contrast, which makes this feeling just all the better. And I believe every path has the potential to be turned into the best path. And I'm trying to get in on that action, and I think it's possible in this situation. I've already experienced hints of it, being grateful for everything I've learned and all the people that I've met, and excited for what I'm learning, excited to learn more, and excited to apply it and help people with what I'm learning. So ultimately, that's what I'm trying to do. This is not the start of my journey. This has been 11 years getting here. This is more just of an introduction, get people caught up with where I'm at, even for the people who do know what I've been going through vaguely, it's been difficult for me to talk about. And so for a multitude of different reasons, I try to avoid talking about it. And that's kind of contributed to this hiding in this metaphorical cave of silence and avoidance. But from this point forward, I'm going to try to do the opposites and be more open and try to tell this story in real time as I go. This is going to be awkward. This is going to be embarrassing. It's probably not going to be best of quality to start. It's going to be a process to learn how to do some of this stuff. And you can bet that I'm going to be feeling a strong case of timeline torment when I post this. But if I'm able to leverage this to get the help that I need, or at least just mitigate the symptoms to a point where I'm a functional human being, it'll be worth it. And hopefully I can turn this timeline torment that I've been feeling for 11 years and turn it into a timeline triumph. That's right. So, this is my Odyssey. If you're feeling adventurous, I'd love for you to join me. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if this is a stupid idea, honestly. I don't even know if this is possible to overcome. But let's find out. I don't wanna do this. I don't wanna do this. I don't wanna do this today. Yeah. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. From this point forward, we're gonna call that word I already registered them in the National Registry for Words. Good old NCAEA. Damn it, so close. From this point forward, we're going to call that Craplexititude. Do that. Eat very well and just go with it. Why can't I just do this? Oh, I suck at everything I do.